If you're an intuitive empath, it can be extraordinarily challenging to find your center because as empaths, our greatest gift is our sensitivity to the emotional and well-being of others. But it is key that we remain and find our emotional equilibrium so that this superpower doesn't become our Achilles heel. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some grounded, practical exercises to not only help find your center, but to use this unique gift to create strength of connection, intimacy, and flow from a heart-centered place instead of one that causes you to feel drained and overwhelmed. So you're an intuitive empath. Part of our superpower and part of our greatest strength is the ability to attune to the energy and emotions of others. But unless we have centering practices that help ground ourselves, regulate our own nervous system, and create energetic equilibrium, we'll often find ourselves overgiving, feeling thrown off, ungrounded, all over the place. So let's really use some different practical tools to help train this awareness and protect our energy so that we can always come back to center where we know where we are. So before I go any further, hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a fourth generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine self, your intuition. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit subscribe, that little bell notification, because I release videos every week. If you're returning, thank you. I love ya. You're my crew. I am so happy to have you here. And today we are talking about how to find your center as an emotional, intuitive empath. This is key. This is absolutely key so that not only do we have self-care and self-awareness practices so that we can put up our tuner and take it down, but so that we don't find ourselves feeling splat on the ground from overgiving or even just getting emotional contagion from all of the energies of the world around us. As empaths and intuitives, what we often do is we are natural healers of the world. In that way that we can attune to people's energy and vibration and their pain and their sensitivity, it often first elicits a heart-centered response where we want to help, where we want to support, where we want to mirror, where we want to engage, where we want to heal. But if we're not using this energy accurately, and not even accurately, if we're not using this energy with intention, we often end up getting all over the place, ending up in relationships where it's not equal, and resentment and overgiving and exhaustion and burnout. It's very, very true. So the reason why I am making this video is I am thinking about myself in this past week as an intuitive empath. I got a few 911, not literally, calls from some friends and family. And before checking in with myself as to where I was energetically, I engaged in a pattern of overgiving, which actually left me in bed needing a very long nap twice in one day on the weekend. And when I woke up on Monday, I really recognized how myself wasn't centered. And in my own self-awareness practice, because even for myself, these are practices that I have to work myself, working these muscles, that gives me more of a space in order to engage. So let's talk about some practices as ways to bring us back to center. So our very first practice number one, is self-awareness. Now, self-awareness is key. And what I'm talking about isn't just self-awareness, but being aware of our own emotions, of our energy, of how things affect us. The more self-aware we can be, this is our tuner. Your intuition resides in the present moment, and that psychic tuner is your attention. Now, instead of having our attention being broadcast to the world outside of us, the most important foundational place is to use that tuner to go within. First, in connecting to how am I feeling about things? How am I feeling right now? feelings come in as sensations in our body. And often what I find has in a lot of my practice in mentoring and doing readings is that when we have the overdeveloped muscle as an intuitive empath, is that we often can use our energy outward, tuning into the vibration and being overly sensitive to other people. And instead of going within and paying attention to our own emotional landscape. Now, when we are, it's thinking of it as a muscle, when we're overdeveloped in being attuned to other people and not being aware of what's on the inside, this leaves us extraordinarily open, psychically open in our channels and in ourselves to be thrown off center at any single point. Because if you're not centered in yourself and you're constantly trying to put out fires outside of yourself because of that empathic sensitivity, you're going to end up exhausted. There is a saying in the I Ching, the general drinks from the well first. And this as a self-awareness practice is key. So first, be aware. What is your relationship with your feeling body? What is your relationship with your feelings? Are you attuned and know the sensations that come into your body? As in, for example, maybe if you're feeling anxious or nervous, that your breathing gets tight, your shoulders get tight, you might feel constricted, that this is an emotion that's telling you something. If we're not aware of that energy, then we end up going into patterns of overgiving instead of having it be from choice. So just like that, being aware of those sensations that come into our bodies, because our feelings, what we feel, tells us what our needs are. And when we're more aware of what our needs are in a very grounded way, the more that we can put these practices into our lives as our daily daily reps that help us build and fortify these muscles. So first, check in. What is your self-awareness practice? Now, some simple ones that I do in my day, first and foremost, meditation, always key. That is a very powerful self-awareness practice. Second, another really powerful self-awareness practice is to pay attention to the sensations in your body. If things feel tight, this is your body telling you that this is often a no. This is an energetic constriction. So if we can first get organized around our feelings and our needs, how do I feel about things? And how do I feel about things in the physical world? This can be a good journaling practice. How do I feel about people dropping in? How do I feel about people calling me at random hours? How do I feel about when I am in a good space to show up and support people versus not? The more that we can use time before we're engaged in emergency or activity, the more that we can respond with choice. So really cultivating that self-awareness practice. Second, which is absolutely key, is grounding. Now, you have to remember that you are a vibrational, energetic being. And as we move in the world, if we're not grounded and centered within ourselves, it's kind of like having a low immune system that makes us more vulnerable to catch viruses of others. There is something that is scientifically proved called emotional contagion. Emotional contagion means that the feelings of other people can affect us, and not only just in person, but on screens, in your cell phone, and text messages, all these ways. So the more that we have grounding practices, first, net self-awareness, being aware of what our own energetic baseline is. Where am I? What my needs and feelings are. Second, grounding. So when we go into the world, when we meet people, when we end up in these places where we're being energetic and emotional support, and we can feel the influx of energy, that we have a way to re-regulate and release energy that is not ours. There are a few ways that I ground. Number one that I always love, is movement. Movement is a great way to discharge energy and get back into your physical body and the present moment. Some of my favorites are putting on a song and moving, dancing, singing. That's a good one. Another one, sometimes for me, is as simple as going for a walk around the block. I do this often after I engage with reading and mentoring clients as a way to move and get back into my own energy. Another simple way that you can really help to ground that I love that my therapist gave me many, many years ago is you can get a rock or a stone that you can keep in your pocket. This could also be a crystal, but when you're feeling overwhelmed, you can hold on to this physical grounded object as a way to channel and really focus the energy. I often in my mind think of it as my human self can't hold this all. My empathic self is feeling overwhelmed, but this grounded crystal can help to hold this energy for me so that I no longer have to hold it on to myself. Third, which is, my faith, setting boundaries. Boundaries are vital to your emotional well-being. Boundaries basically are your feelings and needs as self-informed that are repeated in grounded actions. Your boundaries are your non-negotiables. It tells people how they can treat you. The more that you're aware of your boundaries, what is my true yes? What is my true no? Am I giving from an open-hearted place, or am I giving from a place of obligation? When we set boundaries, this first helps to protect our own sovereignty and the sovereignty of our spirit. It says, this is the bar at which I allow energy in and how I am treated. Having good grounded boundaries is essential to centering yourself, because these are your fortifying walls. This is your grounded foundation in the physical world that helps to be a filter for the energy that is around you. So if you are somebody who struggles with boundaries, which I find that a lot of intuitive empathic people do, I would really recommend that you do some boundary work. There's a wonderful book by a woman named Terry Cole, whom I love, called Boundary Boss, that can help to give you a boundary blueprint and really help to organize, which can be this very sometimes overwhelming, amorphous thing of what are boundaries? How do I practice them? I also have some other videos around energetic boundaries as well, so you should check those out too. We have a whole bunch of ways to support you in helping to fortify and create that solid, safe base for your body and for your spirit. And then last, because I could do a whole video, so maybe if you enjoy this, let me know in the comments and I'll do a part 2, is energy protection. You are responsible for your own energy and you are responsible for your own life. That means that you get to choose what energy is and is not allowed in your field. Now, this can sound, you can say, well, Sonia, I have a boss that's bad energy, or I have a sibling that's bad energy, or I have X, Y, or Z. Now, I'm not talking about having to change somebody's energy. But first, when we practice that self-awareness of how things affect us, I'm affected when people just talk negatively about the news or people or whatever, and it brings me down, can throw me off center, and does not feel good. So for me, as an energetic protection, first and foremost, I'm aware of who those people are in my life. And, there are some people in my life who I am connected to, either whether through its friendship or, part members, constituents, or I'm looking for auxiliary members of my family that can get into this negativity that I'm not going to necessarily cut off. So first, I fortify and extra center myself before going into that energy as a self-loving practice. Or if not, another way is that we can change how we interact with the system. So instead of getting into gossip or being negative or really finding commonality through negativity, we can be the change by either first saying, hey, this doesn't feel good. I'd like to change the subject. Or I hear that you're having a hard time. Let me tell you about something else. Or even more, you could using your right and left foot and walking away. The more that we can change our perception of how we interact by training our awareness, the more that we can be proactive in centering, protecting our energy, and protecting ourselves. So these are just some of the tools that I have on how to protect and center your energy. So if you enjoyed this video, share it. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what your favorite centering exercise is. Is it essential oils? Is it creative guitar? Is it music? I would absolutely love to hear from you. And moreover, practice these consistently. The more consistent we are in these little rituals of centering ourselves, feeding our spirit, and taking care of ourselves, the more that we can be aware and centered no matter how we move through our life, and really use that gorgeous, loving, empathic, open-hearted energy to be a healer conscientiously instead of getting into resentment, overwhelm, or burnout. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, subscribe. And I'm sending you all my love. Bye.